Okay. Hi, Anne.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you? Shana Tova.
Shana Tova, Hatima Tova, and you had a wonderful time in Washington.
Yes, I did. It was just wonderful. Really.
I can imagine. I can imagine. We saw some beautiful pictures.
Bitso at a high. Bitso at a high.
Oh, we need that, no?
It was good. It really was.
You're in the States now?
Yes, I'm in New York now. I couldn't get a flight to home, so I came to see my children.
Good for you.
Rosh Hashanah. Now I hope the airport will be open when I come leave to arrive there for Yom Kippur.
Yeah.
I hope.
You hope. Otherwise, you can stay in New York.
I will continue staying in New York, but I want to go home already.
I can understand. Yes, I can. But it was a wonderful experience. You did well.
Yes, it was. It was, and it was really absolutely beautiful. Very well organized, and really, we were really on a high.
And what an experience to go to the White House, to see all these people so close.
And I sat next to a lady who was from Bahrain, and I got to know her, and I asked her about another lady whom I met in the World Jewish Congress event one day, Nancy Kaduri. And she wasn't there, but the ambassador was there and promised to give my warm regards to Nancy, and we will be in touch. I mean, if we can open up something in Bahrain or in...
Wow, fantastic.
It'll be great.
That would be great.
I see Alegre. Hi, Alegre. Oh, she doesn't see me yet.
She can see us. Maybe she can't hear us.
Yeah.
Dina?
Esther and Anne, how are you?
Hi, Dina.
How are you? How is everybody?
Lovely to meet you digitally.
Yes.
Dina, we don't see you.
You know what? Because we haven't started the webinar officially, you have to, you can see on your screen, if you look, there's an arrow down, you can press the arrow down.
I don't see the arrow down. I
see. You should have the squares, and then you should be able to see an arrow, and then you'll be able to...
Below your name? Are you talking about below your name, Dina?
If you should be able to see 4 blocks. And at the very bottom, there should be an arrow and you can scroll.
No, no, that's opening Jewish report.
I don't know if that's helping.
No, I see Anne, I see Alegre, and I see you, Diana. And the Jewish report.
I see the same. I see the same.
I don't see myself anymore.
Yeah, so you should be able to move the arrow up and down, and you should be able to see yourself.
Okay, here. Oh, yes, I got it. I learned. All right.
Great. So, Esther, where are you? Are you in New York or you're in Washington?
I'm in New York. I'm in New York. I was in Washington for 2 days only, and then I came to New York. And I hope Saturday night I will be able to take a flight back home to Israel. And I hope. They're talking about a lockdown, a very strong lockdown from Friday.
Another one.
Another one, yes, more, stronger. And the airport might be closed. That's my worst nightmare, that the airport would be closed. I don't mind a lockdown. It's okay. You stay home. You don't have to go running around. It's okay. But when the airport is closed, nobody can come in and nobody can go out. That feels like really being locked up.
But even Israeli passports and residents can't go home?
Can't go anywhere. I mean, if no airplanes are coming in, then you can't. My son is supposed to be arriving today from Modena to Israel. I hope it was open. I haven't got news yet, but I hope it was open.
Wow, that's really
difficult all over. Difficult all over. And in South Africa, it's difficult as well, isn't it?
Yeah, well, actually, we're in what they call, I think, our first.
Gracias, Ricardo. Ya vamos a empezar. ¿Me tomas una foto?
But,
I don't hear you, Dinah. I don't hear you, Dina.
Sorry.
You're not in South Africa?
No, so I'm in South Africa. So what I was saying is that at the moment, there we go.
Good.
So at the moment, we actually are going down in our numbers. So they're lessening up all the restrictions. So we've now gone into what we call level 1, which means people can start having small gatherings. The schools are back at school.
That's good. That's good. We were there, but we started going down. I hope
we're very bad now too. Yeah. We're not closing, but today they confined the hotelier school, which is the best renowned in the world. They call it hotelier. 2,500 students have just been confined this afternoon.
Really?
Big schools. So and the cases are going up. It's worrying.
So
hi, Yael. Happy to see you.
Welcome.
Yeah, welcome.
And how are you?
Alegre.
Hi, Allegra.
Hi, Esther.
How are you? How are you? Good.
Diana, can you tell us where are you from?
So I'm from South Africa.
Nice to meet you.
That's where we're hosting. So we are so excited because we know there's so many federations that we've often talked about having a global event. And obviously you can't have the EGM and no one can be on conferences in Israel. So this was just such an amazing way for everyone to gather and also to learn about Israel and learn about the communities and the countries. I think that, I've done some research now on all the different countries and there's such rich Jewish populations and the history is so rich.
And I have a question. As I am talking, you are going to pass the slides of the photos I sent?
Yes.
Okay.
I didn't send anything. I was all of a sudden taken away from my country and I left. That was it. Within a few hours, I took a flight and I went to Washington. I didn't even know I was going in the morning. By the evening, I was on a flight. So I didn't send you any pictures. What you see is what you have. That's it.
We think that you've got more than enough in your arsenal, so that you don't worry.
Thank you. Thank you. Anybody else joining us? I know that India is joining us.
Yes, so Yael should be with us shortly from India and Yael Hassan from Chile.
Oh, wonderful.
Janine from South Africa and Ora from Israel.
Ora from Israel. Great. That's good.
We've got a very nice representation
yes.
across the globe for Vitso, which is absolutely fantastic.
You've touched every single part. Yes, we have Europe. We have yes, we do. Yes.
Yael, how are you? Can you hear us?
I have to see her.
Do you see me? Hello. Hello, everybody. Do you see me?
Yes.
Is that Ora? Is that Ora?
Hey, nice to meet you, my love. Hello. Do you see me?
How are you? But I don't see your picture, Ora. I don't see you.
How come? You don't see my video?
You had to come in with video. Come in with video.
I'm here with video.
No, we can't see you, Ora.
We can't see you.
No.
And we can't see Yael. We can see a lady called Janine Curie, right?
How come you don't see me? Let me see.
Let's see if we can turn. Yeah, your video looks like it's on, Ora, but it's not showing. Maybe it's worth trying to log off and trying to log back in and just check that your camera is working, that you gave.
יש לי מצלמה, לא?
But have you given it permission?
Do you see me now?
No.
No.
No?
No.
Hello.
Hi. We see the
Hello
Jewish report.
welcome. Sorry for crashing the party.
אז בואו נראה, אולי...
Everybody's talking together. Hi.
Yes, it's a mishmash. Hello, everyone. Hello.
Hi.
And your name is?
Oh, hi. I'm Danny Kadar.
You're Danny. You're Danny. Okay.
Yes, most people are quite surprised that I am a male. So I just wanted
So you're Danielle, right? You're with just an EL.
Exactly. Danny in Israel is a very common male name, but in South Africa, it's a very cute name you give to a very good looking, cute South African girl. And they're very shocked when this, husky guy comes along and not what they're expecting. So I
have a grandson called Daniel, so it's okay with me.
Beautiful.
Hi, Yael, can you hear us? Yeah.
Hi, Yael Girard.
I'm trying to connect through another computer. It's okay. So with a better camera. So
Laura speaking.
it'll take me a few minutes. בסדר? Okay?
בסדר, אין בעיה.
Okay.
It totally disappeared on me, and there's
Yeah,
little
we
view.
can't hear you.
Janen, where are you from?
Can you hear me now? Hi.
Yes, very little.
Soft.
Okay, okay, now am I more clear?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes? Okay, I will speak in this tone, yes.
Dina, I can't see anybody.
Tirad, go a little farther from you. You look back. Go back a little bit.
Yes.
Yes.
Or you turn the
Like
thing
that.
up. Yeah, okay,
Yes.
good.
It's better like that.
Okay.
Okay, Esther, you should be able to see
Yala.
the top
I
right. of the-
cannot, it's written down Zoom and it doesn't move.
Maybe try and see if there's a window that's open on the bottom. And it's got the camera. If you click on it, it should show you.
I've got here. Okay. Did I do it right? Yes.
Can you
okay.
see everyone?
Do you see me? Yes?
Yes, we see you.
Okay.
So you're good. See, so this is why we connect in the beginning, so we can make
Okay.
sure everyone's
Yeah.
on. I don't know where Jennifer is, Lim from Jamaica. Jennifer is joining us from Jamaica.
Jamaica. You know, we got in contact 6 months ago with Jamaica, and that was really something good.
Listen, it's
Which is
incredible
moving,
when you look
right?
at all the federations that exist around the world and the connections and the common cause. It's a phenomenal thing. Phenomenal.
It is. It really is.
Exactly. And how's Switzerland today?
Switzerland is fine. I think one of the last days of early autumn. It's getting cold. They're announcing snow low down already on Sunday. Can you imagine? Another world.
Wow. And then what's the situation with Corona and lockdown? Because if you're in lockdown.
We are not locked down, but so the situation is getting worse. The canton where we live is not good. Swiss German is better. Geneva is so-so. Yeah, we are careful. We are going everywhere with masks in all the shops, everywhere, even in our sports clubs. Not easy, like everyone.
And my granddaughter will fly there next week on Thursday.
Yeah.
She's going to study near Geneva.
Where?
To the University of Hotellerie.
That's 500 meters from my house. And I just tell you that today they've just put all the kids in quarantine because they've had so many cases.
Wow.
So tell her to find out before she travels that school is not closed.
Okay, I will tell her.
And then I will write to you everything because my contacts, I'm close to her. I will look after her.
Thank you very much.
Virtually across the
Hi, Ora.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hi, Ora. How are you?
Now it's better?
Yeah.
All good.
Gorgeous Ora.
Miss you.
Miss you too. Soon. Come back home soon.
Yeah, you should.
Yes, I will.
And Yael, how is India? We know that your cases were climbing quite a bit, and
Yes, we have increased numbers, and we are closed still. We're all home and slowly opening up. Schools are closed and trains are closed. So that means we are in a lockdown, but we have to open up a little bit. Synagogues are closed, so festivals were all home.
For sure.
So that was it, yes. How are you, Esther?
I'm fine, thank you. I'm in New York.
Oh, you are in New York. Wow, congratulations. Yes,
thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, was in Washington for 2 days and then came to New York. But soon I'll go back home, soon.
So Esther, I believe that Donald Trump himself, President Donald Trump, invited you to come to the White House for the signing of the UAE deal.
Yes, that's absolutely true. I was so shocked when I received the invitation. I sent it to the whole board and I said, look what I got.
And we were so excited, I have to admit. Yeah, we all were very excited.
And
still excited and proud.
Yes, we were. And all of a sudden I decided, okay, I got the invitation, now I must go. So within a few hours, I had everything ready to fly the same evening. It was something. It's the first time that I just, on the spur of the moment, packed a suitcase and left. It was beautiful.
How many people were at the ceremony? Was it a very
It was a very big ceremony, a very big one. I mean, it was on the lawn. I think that was the Rose Garden. It was on the lawn in front of the entrance of the White House. Enormous, enormous, gigantic place. And there must have been over 1,000 people there. And each one was wearing, a lot of the people were wearing a mask, and I was wearing my Vizo mask, and I was presented with another Vizo mask there. So, and one of our former presidents of Miami, of US, was there with her family. So we had really a strong Vizo hold in the whole area. It was exceptional, really exceptional. Everything was so tip-top, so beautiful, so wonderful. I'm very honored.
You get to meet President Trump.
What? I didn't hear.
You get to meet President Trump.
To shake hands, no, but from far we could see him. Yes, we were quite close, but yet, you know, with dignitaries of this caliber, you have to keep a distance. You have to keep a distance. There is so much security. The security was very, very strong, and yet they were very courteous, very courteous. They kept people away from him, but in a very courteous way. And that was fine, absolutely fine.
Amazing. And I see Lee Joffrey has joined us. Good evening.
She has.
Hello,
Esther. Good to see her. Lee is in Israel. Hi, Lee.
Hi, Esther. How are you?
I'm good. You're still in Israel, aren't you?
I'm still here. Locked down.
Well, I hope
Lee,
to be back.
how are you?
Back Sunday. Tamar is on.
Hi, Allegra.
How are you?
Tamar Lazarus is sending love to all of you.
Thank you. Send her ours. Are we going to see her? Is she going to be on the panel? Is she going to be on it?
She's not on the panel, but Tamar, you're welcome to raise your hand and we're happy to put you on, or you can send me a message and I'll put you on if you'd like.
Okay.
Tamar's always got lots to say.
Yes. Tamar's
Tamar, let
fantastic.
me try to look for Tamar and we can actually bring her up. I will find her. Let's just see.
I saw Lorienne's name somewhere.
Yeah, Lorianne here as well. So we are going to have lots of our people who are very much involved in Vizo attending, which is very nice.
You have 316 participants already.
Yeah,
Great.
so far, so we're going to be going live at 8 o'clock. So we've got 318 people that have logged on. So what normally happens is most people join, you know, Jewish mean time, like 2 minutes past the start, which is always good. But we are so happy we've got such an amazing crew, and thank you to Lee, who's helped really with the brainchild of this and put it all together. We thought it was really a different way to present the organization and to bring it in. I'm going to actually, I had found Tamara, now it keeps moving. Let us see. Sorry, yeah, that's why your panel link brings you directly on.
Panelists, I'm in my PJ.
You're in your PJs, Tamar?
Yeah, yes. So I'm not putting my video on. Lovely, take me off. Thank you.
That's very casual. You're welcome to be in your PJs.
We'd like to see how they look.
Yeah.
There we go. How's Captain today?
Okay.
Mar, just a short photo, just it.
Yeah, I don't know why my photo is not coming up. Usually you have the photo. Very nice photo, but yeah. But Dina removed me from the panelist. Yeah, thanks.
All right, lovely to have you, and we will see you later.
I know. Thank you.
Bye.
Yeah, Elle's husband.
Okie dokes. So let's just see. All right, Danny, will you please, put it back into the audience. Thank you so much. All right. And tell Allegra, how is Mexico today? Yes, Yael.
Mexico is good. We have a very nice weather always in Mexico. We have a lot of contagious, a lot. We have a populist government right now, and he doesn't tell the truth. We have like 70,000 dead people already, but they say that they are like 200,000 people have died.
Really?
We are also 30% of the population is very poor. So I think that is why. But the Jewish community, thanks God, it's good. I have a little data that I will give it today. But the community is almost all of the community is locked down. They have just 1 month working, like everybody of you. But we are okay. We have 20 Jewish people dead till today.
Oh, they
have died. Yes.
Oh, that have died. Right. So I'm sorry, yeah, Ayla, you wanted to say something? Because I know it's getting late in India, so we really appreciate you joining. I'm not sure, we've got your video, so we'll show it later.
Yes. So, but when we come on stage, we have to say something live, hello or something, or no, the presentation is all what it is.
So we'll have your presentation. I don't know, are you going to be staying with us?
Yes, I will. I'm not. Who sleeps anyway in the lockdown?
I love that. When I was in India, I have to tell you that I noticed that it just carries on no matter what time. It starts late. India starts late in the day and then it just carries on.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful thing. And they eat and they'll feed you. It's just marvelous. All right, guys, so it's now 8:02. We are officially going to go live. We're going to start our webinar. So just for all the panelists, we'll bring you on one by one and we'll do an interview with each of you. We're just going to do a quick introduction and then you can all switch off your cameras and then we will actually begin the webinar. And yes, and I'm so happy that you're all on. And Yael, thank you for staying with us all the way from India.
And Dina, I won't stay for the whole event. Sorry, I apologize already.
No problem. Listen, also, we know you must be exhausted. You've been traveling. So you're absolutely allowed to go.
Thank
you. We'll talk to you shortly.
Thank you.
Thank you, Esther. Thank you, Lee. All right. So with that, we'd like to officially welcome everyone to the 57th webinar of the Jewish Report. And tonight we are so excited. We've got the most unbelievable lineup. We have got women from all over the world. So we have got Jamaica, we have got Mexico, we've got South Africa, we've got Switzerland, we've got Mexico. We have just got such an amazing lineup, Israel, South Africa, and we think it's just going to be such an amazing show in terms of, and Chile, in terms of how many people actually live in those kind of communities and what they actually do. So look forward to a great show. Also, just to let you know, the chat button below, you're welcome to chat. And also, if you have any questions for the panelists, please put them in the Q&A button below, because obviously as we go, we'll get the questions. It'll be great. And also in the chat, please tell us where in the world you are dialing in from, because I think we have people from all over the world. Obviously, we've got to know where you're coming from, who is here, all of those wonderful things. And we will actually say hi to all of you. And also, please, can you just say thank you? Danny, can you put your camera on? We'd just like to say thank you to you for playing with all the buttons behind the scenes. So thank you again. You always are awesome.
Thank you. That's a pleasure.
All right, we've got people from Canada, we've got Cape Town, we've got Tel Aviv. So absolutely awesome to see all of you. We've got hello Gail from Jocelyn Bessarabi's sister in Los Angeles. Guys, we've got such we've got a proper international audience at the moment, so fantastic. So lovely having all of you. And also I'd just like to thank Lee Joffe, because it's Lee who helped put this entire panel together and really coordinate everyone from around the globe. So thank you so much to Lee. In addition to that, just wanted to let you know that our shofar blowing competition is still on, which we'll show you now. But for those of you aware, this week we lost an icon in for women's rights and an icon in the Supreme Justice of the United States. That's Ruth Bader Ginsburg. And for that, we have made a tribute because she was such an incredible woman that we thought it would be remiss not to have this. So please, Danny, can you roll the actual video for Ruth? Thank you.
Supreme Court Associate Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg has died at the age of 87.
I owe so much to the entry this nation afforded to people yearning to breathe free.
I had 3 strikes against me. 1, I was Jewish. 2, I was a woman, but the killer was I was the mother of a 4-year-old child. There were many well-known firms in New York that were not yet up to welcoming Jews. So when I graduated from law school, there was not a single woman on any federal bench. It would not be a realistic ambition for a woman to want to become a federal judge. I was heartened by the words of a girl of my generation. She wrote, "One of the many questions that has often bothered me is why women have been, and still are, thought to be so inferior to men. You know, the standard robe is made for a man because it has a place for the shirt to show and the tie. So Sandra Day O'Connor and I thought it would be appropriate if we included it as part of our robe, something typical of a woman. You're writing for a future age, and your hope is that with time, the court will see it the way you do. The people ask me, when would you be satisfied with the number of women on the court? When there are 9. For most of the country's history, they were all white men. Be a lady meant don't give way to emotions that sap your energy, like anger. Take a deep breath and speak calmly.
I stand on the shoulders of those brave people. I expect to see 3, 4, perhaps even more women on the High Court bench, women not shaped from the same mold, but of different complexions.
But there has been a tradition in the United States of dissents becoming the law of the land. I am a judge, born, raised, and proud of being a Jew. The demand for justice, for peace, for enlightenment runs through the entirety of the Jewish history and Jewish tradition. I hope that in all the years I have the good fortune to continue serving on the bench of the Supreme Court of the United States, I will have the strength and courage to remain steadfast in service of that demand. I love my job. It's the best and the hardest job that I have ever had. And it's what has kept me going through 4 cancer bouts. Instead of concentrating on my aches and pains, I just know that I have to read this set of briefs and concentrate on the court's work.
Wow, so I think that video speaks for itself, and thank you to Howard Sackstein for putting that together. I think it really is a great tribute to a wonderful woman. And now, as everyone may know, we have been running a shofar blowing competition throughout our lead up to Rosh Hashanah and obviously now to Yom Kippur. So it still continues. You're still able to actually enter our shofar competition. But we thought because we've got a panel of women tonight, we thought we would be a little bit different and we would show you the entrants that have recently been submitted. Again, because women are able to blow the shofar if men are not available to. So Danny, please roll our new entrants to our shofar blowing competition.
گل گندم شکفته گل گندم یار گل گندم شکفته گل گندم یار میکنم همه چین و همه چون گل گندم گل گندم گل گندم یار میکنم همه چین و همه چون گل گندم گل گندم گل گندم یار
Here, Shavarim, Teruah, Tekir Gadola.
گل گندم یار 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 گل گندم شکفته گل گندم یار گل گندم شکفته گل گندم یار حوصله من شده سبز و دگرم از چه بود ترس و هراسی یار میکنم همه چین و همه چون گل گندم گل گندم گل گل گندم یار گل گندم یار گل گندم یار گل گندم یار گل گندم یار
Wow. So I think that we can absolutely say that she was an absolute legend. And I think we've got a really stiff competition in terms of our shofar coming in, that it's going to be a very, very tough competition. Don't worry, everyone is going to get their chance to vote, because it is going to be a public vote, and that is how we're going to determine the winner. And we will release our website shortly, and we'll actually let you all go on and vote, so that it's a very, very fair competition. And yeah, I think the results will be very interesting. I think we've got some great women and some kids there, so we'll see what happens. Now, to carry on with our panel, we have got Esther Mor with us, who is the president of World WITSO, and we are so privileged to have her, because was to by Good evening, Esther. How are you?
Good evening. Good evening. I didn't hear what you said, but it's okay. You must have said some nice things, right?
Woman, you've been involved with WITSO pretty much for such a long time, and you really have achieved so much in the organization. You're currently in New York.
Yes, I am. And I want to say shalom to everyone from Israel, but I'm in New York. I'm in New York. And I would firstly like to commend the South African Jewish Report and Window of the World, and WITSO South Africa and Lee Joffe, especially on this wonderful initiative. Congratulations to all that are involved for rising to these enormous challenges, because to get all 491 people at the moment on your webinar is quite a challenge. So congratulations. Nothing gives me more pleasure than to join you today to talk about something that is very close to my heart, WITSO. So let's start from the very beginning. Established in Great Britain in 1920, WITSO, Women's International Zionist Organization, was founded as a Zionist women's movement for the purpose of helping women and children in the Jewish communities in the pre-state Israel. As a powerful voice for all Jewish women, in 1959, WITSO was recognized by the United Nations as a non-governmental organization, an NGO. And it was the first Zionist organization that was granted consultative status at the Economic and Social Council, ECOSOC, and the United Nations Children's Emergency Fund, UNICEF. Next to the Israeli government, WITSO is the largest provider of social welfare services in the country. This July, we celebrated our centennial, 100 years of excellence in the service of the people of Israel, empowering women, educating children and youth, and improving the welfare of disadvantaged populations. Great social movements are built on passion, inspiration, and cooperation. WITSO is a global sisterhood, unifying Jewish women from every corner of the world in its unique brand of Zionism and voluntarism, strengthening their Jewish identity, connection to Israel, and the Jewish people. Our strength stems from the network of thousands of members in over 50 federations worldwide, working tirelessly to create a social change for all sectors of the Israeli society. Our legion of dedicated volunteers are the backbone of our movement. Yes, we women are strong, and even stronger when we lean in together. When we support each other, when there is such love, passion, and commitment, miracles happen. It does indeed take a village to raise a child, but it takes a global sisterhood to build an Israeli nation. For over 100 years, WITSO sisters have stood shoulder to shoulder with the people of Israel, offering solutions to create more invested and egalitarian Israeli society. I have been an active WIZO volunteer for the greater part of my life. And by working for the organization on a daily basis, I am fulfilling my Zionist dream. I have always felt that my life would have much more meaning if I was able to help others volunteering. For me, the joy of giving is far greater than the joy of receiving. After serving in various positions within the organization, in 2016, I was elected as president of World WIZO. And in January this year, I was re-elected for a second four-year term. It is a great pleasure and privilege and joy to serve WIZO and to represent the organization in several national and international forums. I serve as a member on the executive of the World Zionist Organization, the Jewish Agency Board of Governors, the Zionist Council, the Keren Kayemet LeIsrael Board, and as a vice president on the executive of the World Jewish Congress under the leadership of President Ronald Lauder. For almost 40 years, I have been a member of the International Women's Club for spouses of diplomats serving in Israel and Israeli diplomats serving abroad. I have established close contacts and connections with many foreign ambassadors in Israel, sharing with them WIZO's vital work while strengthening international ties. I was honored to receive a personal invitation from President Trump at the White House to attend the signing of the Abraham Accords last week. And I was so proud to represent WIZO at this historic ceremony, which was outstanding. This great honor belongs to all of us. It demonstrates that WIZO's high standings, not just in Israel, but all around the world. My vision is to make WIZO the most prominent and outstanding voluntary women's social movement and sisterhood, nationally and internationally. During the past 4 years, I have planted many positive seeds and intend to continue the momentum I have started and see it through to completion. I thank you all for asking me to join this Zoom meeting. It's lovely to see all of you here. I can't see all of you, but I do see some of you. And I want to wish you all a Shana Tova, Gmar Chatima Tova, and may we be written and inscribed in the book of life as Toda Rabba Velehitraot. Toda.
Thank you so much, Esther. Toda Rabba. Really, thank you. I think what you've done is absolutely inspirational. You've lived all over the world. You've lived in, I think, Japan. Where else have you lived? You've lived in Italy.
I lived in Italy, in Japan, in Bangkok, in Hong Kong, in India, and in the United States, and now in Israel. So
and how many
it's half the world.
Absolutely. And you speak so many languages. How many languages do you?
7 very well, and the 8th one is a little bit on and off. But it's the countries I've been to, so you learn the language there, and it's very interesting. The world is a very interesting place, and the people are wonderful. Whoever I met are really good people, and WIZO is the top for me. All the WIZO women are top for me.
Fantastic. So you've definitely been the right ambassador in terms of all the countries, and you've definitely felt the cultures. So it's fantastic. Thank you so much for being with us. We know you're in New York. You know you've been running around to Washington. It's hard when you're meeting presidents all the time. So thank you very much for being with us.
My pleasure. My pleasure. And thank you for inviting me. And ladies, wonderful to see you all. You do a great job, and I thank you all for it. Really, I'm so proud of all of you. They're all WIZO women, right? Most of them are WIZO women. I really am proud of all of you. You all together, we become stronger together. We should be really helping each other become a wider and stronger organization. We are strong, but we can get much stronger. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Now, we actually would like to show a video of the centennial, which has been done. It's a beautiful video, so Danny will roll it.
Okay.
Thank you so much. And I think that's just such a beautiful video from Rito, and I think it really gives a sense of the type of organization that exists.
Absolutely beautiful.
So absolutely, thank you. And so now we're actually going to start going through the countries, and we're going to go and talk about the different communities that exist. We're going to talk about the lifestyle, what happens in those countries, the history of those countries. And I mean, literally from Mexico, Switzerland, Jamaica, Israel, Chile, South Africa, I think we're going to get such an amazing, interesting conversation. And we'd like to start off with Mexico, which is Allegra. And we're so excited to have you with us tonight. Good evening, Allegra.
Hi, how are you all?
Very good. Where are you coming to us from in Mexico?
Yes. First of all, nice to meet, to share this morning, afternoon, or night, as everyone in the world, with leaders from South Africa, Panama, Jamaica, India, Switzerland, Chile, and Israel. And of course, thank you, South Africa Jewish Report. It's an honor to be a part of this panel.
Thank you. So Allegra, you there's a very rich history in Mexico of people. So do you want to tell us where does the population come from in Mexico, and how many Jews are there currently?
Okay. Our community is around, the Jewish community is around 45,000 people. We are organized in 6 communities according to their countries of origin and a very big sports center. 4 of them are Orthodox and 2 conservative, and all of them provide religious, social, cultural, and educational services, as well as social care and conciliation and arbitration services. We also have a little small communities in Guadalajara, Monterrey, Cancun, Tijuana, San Diego, and I say Tijuana, San Diego, because they work, most of the Jewish community in Tijuana, but they live in San Diego, but the community is from, belongs to Mexico. And now we have a new community, it's called San Miguel de Allende. It's 2 hours by car from Mexico City. It's called the Magic Town, and the community is formed basically for foreign Jews from Europe and the United States. And Dina, can I talk now from Mexico a little bit?
Absolutely.
Well, before that, I would like to add, I will finish with the Jewish community. We are based in the Central Committee, is the representative institution of the Jewish community of Mexico. Its main duty is to establish and maintain a good relationship with national authorities at all levels, as well as with political and social players in the country. According to the data from now, we have 90% of our children attend the 14-day schools, Jewish schools, and we have very low level of assimilation, around 6%. And these 6%, 95% of them convert to Judaism. So we have 4,200 families from the Ashkenazi sector, 7,450 families from the Sephardi sector, and 450 from the sports center, that they are mixed all together. We have 32% of the community is very religious, 30% are observative. It means that they keep Shabbat, the main festivities, and kosher. 30% are traditional and 7% are secular. Now, I would like to talk about my country. Mexico is a democratic and secular country. We are a very large country with 32 states. Our population range in about 120 millions. We have a very mild weather almost in all the country, except in the north, where temperatures can range between 35 in the summer and 2 degrees in the winter. Spanish is our official language, but we have around 67 different dialects in the countrysides. The currency is the Mexican peso. We are surrounded by sea, but in the north, we have the border with the United States, in the south with Guatemala. The strongest source of income is oil. The predominant religion is Catholicism, and there is a special cult to the Virgin of Guadalupe. Couples usually have around 2 children nowadays, because a decade ahead, still they were 5 to 6 children. And 40% of the population in Mexico. Okay.
Here we go. We can hear.
About Dina, about the tourist spots that I recommend here in Mexico City. You have seen in the video, we have a beautiful pyramids that they are called Teotihuacan pyramids. There is a place for the gods. It was founded by the indigenous people in Mexico several centuries before the common era, and they are true image of ancient wisdom and magic. The most important pyramids are called one to the moon, one to the sun, and one to the feather or snake. Xochimilco also is the Venetian from Mexico. It's a lake basin in the middle of the woods. They have typical boats, very colorful painted. In the front of the boat, it's the name, women's names. They are made of real flowers or paper flowers. You can take your food and you stroll in the lake, in the basin, with they sell you food, they sell you gifts, they sell you flowers, plants, and also they are boats with the mariachis, typical Mexican musical group. We have most of the more beautiful beaches in the world, sandy beaches, all of them with warm weather and translucent waters.
Sorry, just on that. So I know obviously there is Cancun, which is very popular.
Yes.
So So I know that's the nickname that everyone's got. So are you getting a lot of tourists that come through to there? And I noticed that in Cancun, there's a lot of kosher restaurants, which I thought was very interesting.
Yes, I want to tell you about this, that Mexico is the 6th most country visited in the world. Not only for Cancun, because everybody knows Cancun, but we are very rich. I will tell you right now, the people are very friendly and helpful in Mexico. The folklore costumes and music is beautiful. A lot of the dishes are considered World Heritage because the flavors and variety is so unique. Even though not everybody knows to speak English, of course, you can be sure that they will help you gladly, but but in all the tourist places and the hotels, of course, all around, they can speak English. And we have a lot of koshers. We have the halal community in Cancun. That's why we have kosher. And we have also Vitso in Cancun. The Vitso, it was formed, the Jewish community, side by side by Vitso. Incredible. And also I would like to tell Dina that we are rich in Mexico in cultural heritage. We have more than 40 sites that are counted in the UNESCO heritage.
Wow, so that is really fantastic. And you're saying so the majority of Jews are in Mexico City?
The 80% are in Mexico City and the others are in Guadalajara, Monterrey, Cancun, Tijuana, San Diego, and San Miguel de Allende.
Wow. So why there's so many specifically restaurants in Cancun? Is it because there's so many tourists? I heard that one restaurant there has 4,000 seats. Is that correct?
I don't know that. I don't know that. I don't think so, because Cancun, everybody knows Cancun, but Mexico is a very large country. Cancun, it's famous because the sandy white beaches, the color of the water, of course, it's very safe. It's very safe. It's a paradise, because all around also you have pyramids. We have really Mexico, it's a very beautiful country. We have been living here since the Jewish community was founded in 1912. We have been living all these years safely. We thank, I will read something.
All right, I just want to check. So
Mexico.
someone's asked the question.
Dina, I cannot hear you.
Sorry, is there anti-Semitism in Mexico?
Yes. No. I would like to take this point, very important for you. Anti-Semitism has never been an official policy in Mexico. The country has an anti-discrimination law promoted in 2003. The community was a part of this effort that considered anti-Semitism as a discrimination activity. Nevertheless, anti-Semitism incidents, especially in the mass and social media, appear frequently. But Tribuna Israelita is called this committee, is always behind these scenes, and automatically they shut down. We live very peaceful. We live very close to each other in a circumference less than 30 kilometers. We are all around. I am talking in Mexico City. We have more than 25 synagogues, big and small ones. The community nowadays are being more near the religion. But the fact that you also asked me about how is the government now is very difficult, because we have been always a central government, but now 2 years ago with López Obrador, he is a left, a populist, and we have been suffering of security. I have to tell, not the security that it's for the Jewish people, but we have a lot of problems with with drug dealers, not near us. You can see, you hear in the news, but it's not here, it's in the borders. But we live, thanks well, the economic problem as in all over the world. It has gone down, and that is because of the Mexican government, but the Jewish community has been always on the side of the president that is on the regime.
Fantastic. I'm not sure.
Dina, I cannot hear you. Dina, I will talk about something in Mexico and the relation with the Huitzo, if you, and the community. Is that okay? I will, is everybody hearing me? Because I cannot hear
Yes.
Dina.
Yes, that is perfect. Allegra, your
Danny,
sound.
you hear me?
Yes, it's 100% perfect. Dina is just quickly going to reboot her sound.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm back. I'm not sure if that's helping you at all.
Dina, I would like to talk about first of Huitzo, if you want to know. Is that okay?
Absolutely. Please, yes.
Okay. Huitzo in my country. We were founded 81 years ago. We are organized in 30 groups that range between 22 years to 92 years. We are the only organization that is conformed by women from all the communities, from Syria, from Lebanon, from East Europe, Central Europe, and Jews from Spain and Turkey. We do not have the separation of the Aviv because we have a respect, love, and solidarity between us. We learn from the elderly and they teach the youngest generations and vice versa. We have 47 active members from 30 groups and 3,200 members. We are recognized not only within the community for the exceptional work we perform day by day, but also by the Mexican government because we have helped in the natural disasters and in the furnishing of government schools, because in Huitzo, we believe that the education is the key to progress. And we have received 5 years ago an honor from the Senate of the government. We are an example of unity and vanguard organization in all aspects. We have Huitzo federations also in the cities you asked me, Dina, I mentioned before, and we are truly the embodiment of leadership in the work of the women.
Amazing. So thank you so much. I think you've told us so much about your wonderful country. I think it's such a rich country, a rich history. And I think we have to come visit your beautiful beaches, come see the pyramids, and definitely the white sand.
Yes.
And hopefully come visit you in Mexico City. So thank you so much. But you're going to stay on till the end. And then if anyone's got questions about Mexico, then hopefully they can catch up.
Dina, and the receipt, you asked me for Sukkot, you have it in the mail. So you can pass them then later to all the public.
Absolutely. Anyone watching tonight, we're going to send a recipe, especially from Mexico, from you. Thank you so much. We like our homegrown food, and we'll see you a little bit later. Thank you very much.
Chatima tova, Dina, and all of you.
Absolutely. Chatima tova. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
And thanks. And now next, we're actually going to be moving on to Switzerland. So we have Anne Agri with us. And Anne, welcome tonight. You're just on mute at the moment. Let's bring you up. And
good evening, Dina. Good evening to everyone. I'm extremely honored to have been invited by Lee and the South African Federation to be on this panel this evening. And I would also like to say good evening to our president, Mrs. Esther Mor, who came back from this wonderful trip in Washington, testifying the signature of this incredible agreement in between Israel and the United Emirates and Bahrain. So very nice things to look forward to, I hope, in the future. This evening, I wanted just to introduce to you very briefly our Switzerland, of course, and our Jewish community, and also speak about our work at the UN in Geneva. So as you see, this is a view from my little town in Lausanne, where I live. I didn't introduce myself. I am the past president of the Swiss Federation, and today I am the counselor to the chairperson of World WITSO, Mrs. Anita Friedman, and I'm extremely honored to take on this new challenge in order to make things work in Europe. So in Switzerland, to start with, we have a population of about 8.5 million inhabitants, and we are more or less divided into three parts as far as language is concerned. The French-speaking in the west, in the central is German-speaking, and I would say southeast of Switzerland, close to Italy, in the Italian-speaking part of the country. We have 13 Jewish communities with about 13,000 members, which are linked to the Swiss Federation of Jewish Communities. And we also have 6 communities which are not members. 3 are the liberal communities and 3 are the very Orthodox communities. On the whole in Switzerland, we have, as you see here, 25 Sephardi and 75 Ashkenazi as a division. But if you go, for example, in the Geneva community, it is about half-half. A lot of Jews emigrated from Egypt, from Iraq, from all those countries in the 60s when the Jews were threatened in those countries. And Switzerland did open the borders, sometimes not very easily, but in the long run. And that Jewish community, of which my family is part, has made quite a difference in the banking system, in the commercial and exchange system. So it's, I would say, the influence of these communities is quite strong in Switzerland, which is a closed country surrounded by mountains, where all this sudden immigration was quite something about 40, 50 years ago. Now, the origins, before we go to these beautiful places, is 2 synagogues in the east of Switzerland, which were in Endingen, 1750, and Legnau, 1764. These are the 2, I would say, first synagogues in Jewish communities coming down from eastern France, themselves coming from Poland and northeast of Europe. So this is a bit the story of the Jewish community in Switzerland.
Fantastic, very interesting.
Wonderful. So here you asked us a few spots. So we have a few spots. One is the Lake Léman on the right-hand side, a lovely spot near Montreux. Then you have one lovely spot of the Swiss Alps and the glaciers, which are unfortunately already, fading a lot. And this is a climate change which is really very striking for us. And then here in Lausanne, we have a very important Olympic museum to know that about 80% of the worldwide sports federations have their offices here in Lausanne, which is the little, I would say, renowned of our country. Then, of course, you will have recognized the Matterhorn, which is Zermatt for the people who love going to the mountains and skiing. Then in the middle, you still have another key spot, which is Lucerne, which is bridge. And of course, last but not least, Lake Geneva with this incredible waterfall, which is always on as long as there is not too much wind. So these are the key places. This is what Switzerland looks like a bit when you come from abroad.
Absolutely. So are you seeing a lot of tourists mainly in obviously the winter to come skiing?
We did only see mainly in the winter, but nowadays people love hiking and love discovering the country also in the summer. And there is a big touristic, I would say, input to have people all the year round. And we do. Of course, not now because of the COVID. Many borders are closed. We are not closed, but many countries are in red zones. So it's complicated today, yes. So Switzerland without any chocolates wouldn't be Switzerland. So this is what I put up first. And of course, cheese and fondue and double clotted cream and meringue. And opposite, I put a picture of the Caillé Foundation. Caillé is one of the best known brands of chocolate, and they have a foundation, and this is the picture. So this is a bit of a, I would say, what is typically Swiss. And of course, without forgetting all our watches. If you like watches, you have many brands. And if you come to Geneva or to Zurich or to Lucerne, you will walk down the streets and see many, many, many Swiss beautiful watches. So the general issues here in the country, actually I was trying to find issues. There are not many issues. We have a very stable government working very well. We had a crisis, I would say, committee during COVID, during confinement, which did take on over the government, worked very well. We have problems which are very high costs of living, insurance, rentals, which do make it difficult for the younger generation. But on the whole, I must say, we have a very, very blessed life here in Switzerland. As far as the Jewish communities are concerned, it's not easy today to be, I would say, here. The Jewish communities are small, and the younger generations in between 20 and 40, many of them leave, mainly to Israel and to the US. Because today, otherwise assimilation is extremely active, I would say. It is.
Yes, are people leaving because of anti-Semitism, or are they leaving because they feel
I would say it's a whole, they do leave because of there is a bit of anti-Semitism I will speak about. It is not easy to live. We don't have the communities you have in South America, for example. I was listening to Allegro speaking. We don't have like Jewish clubs. We don't have, for example, I do a lot of sports, and if we have big tournaments, for this coming weekend, there is a national golf tournament. I cannot participate because Sundays, Erev Kippur, I cannot go. It's just not possible. It's at the other end of the country. They would never take this into consideration. They don't even know. It's a question of education. And also because the communities are very small. Now you have a picture here of the synagogue in Lausanne and what we do in Sukkot. The communities in Switzerland are very tightly, I would say, intertwined, and we are all holding together, the ones who are here. But I can understand for the younger ones, it's sometimes not so easy. But we also do get today an immigration from countries like France, where it's even more difficult for them. And we get a lot of people coming in from France mainly to this side of the country. So WITO in the country, we have today about 2,000 members and 7 chapters in the main towns, Geneva, Zurich, Basel, Bern, Lausanne, La Chaux-de-Fonds, and Fribourg. They're small communities, but we do well. We are very active. We do events. We try and help the local communities. And we also try and voice Israel in Switzerland. I think it's very, very important to keep alive the ties in between the Jews here in Switzerland and Israel, and know why we're here. We work for Israel, but it's important that the Jews in Switzerland know what's going on in Israel as well. So it's a double, I would say. We give on one side and we receive on the other.
Perfect.
And my experience is many, many years ago, and I'm still here, still strong. It's a wonderful sisterhood. It's a wonderful experience, lifelong experience with so many friends all over the world. And this is for me what counts. And more than anything, doing what matters, as we all know. We do what matters for Israel, for a wonderful organization, and hopefully for many, many more years to come. And now I would also like, if I still have time, I don't know, speak for a few minutes about our work at the UN in Geneva. So as you may know, there are different offices. There are offices in Vienna, in Geneva, and of course in New York. And we have a team of about 5 volunteers who have been approved by World WITO and who represent World WITO at the UN in Geneva. So I just wanted to tell you in a few words what we do. We are delegates and we observe and report on the UN activities. And our main work is to lobby at the UN Human Rights Council, which takes part twice a year, when issues are directly linked to women and children and families in Israel. We only have what you call a consultative status, which means that if we need to speak or to voice something, we need to ask for authorization. And if we do get a speaking time, it will be 90 seconds. It's not much, but we take what we are given. And as we're a non-political and a non-denominational organization, we can only lobby actively, and we can only collaborate with other Israeli-friendly, non-governmental organizations. We try and give Israel a stronger voice, because as you all may know, Israel is quite hostile to the Jewish state. And one of the reasons of this anti-Israel bias is the problem of, I don't know if you have heard of item 7. Now, when we have the Human Rights Council, there are mainly 10 items which are talked about. The only country who is singled out in the world is Israel, and the only half day of discussions is called item 7. I can tell you, for having been there several times, it is a horrible experience because it's bashing Israel for several hours from countries one would have expected sometimes friendly, from countries which buy Israeli technology, Israeli products and know-how. So this UN is quite, I would say, an uncomfortable place to be at some stages. Unfortunately, this item 7 is always dealing with the impact of the Israeli occupation on human rights in Palestine and other occupied Arab territories, and the questions of the right of the Palestinian people, of the self-determination, is always discussed in this forum. So what can we do but go on as this wonderful news we had last week with President Trump enabling this new peace process with 2 essential countries, which are the United Arab Emirates and Bahrain, and hopefully many, many more countries who will be able to join this peace process on the way. This would actively change, I would say, the Human Rights Council perspective and votes and vision. Just for you to have an idea, since the Human Rights Council was created in June 2006 up to June 2016, 135 resolutions were passed criticizing countries. Out of these 135 resolutions, 68 were against Israel. So you can imagine how painful it is for us to be there where all these unfair resolutions are passed. But hopefully, as I'm telling you, these things will change. And to conclude,
but at least you're there, at least you're representing, at least you have your
yes, we were there until the end of last year. Now with COVID, everything is happening on Zoom, on internet. And so our work is just to listen what's happening. We cannot be there, and therefore we cannot lobby for Israel. But we did until last year, and last year we had Einat Wilf. I think many of you know about her. She's an Israeli intellectual. She was member of the Knesset, and she spoke. We gave her our precious 90 seconds. And believe me, when she got up in this unfriendly forum and said, I'm Dr. Wilf, Einat Wilf, and I'm a Jew and I'm a Zionist, I can tell you the whole room was very, very silent. She spoke in an incredible way. And she spoke for Vitso, and she spoke for all the women in Israel, and a moment to be proud of. So this is the few things I wanted to tell you. I will be happy to answer any questions if you would like me to.
Thank you so much. I think that was so informative, and I think the work that you do at the UN, even though you get short in time, I think is so important and absolutely critical that there needs to be a voice. So we are going to have Q&A at the end, but thank you so much. I know you're going to be staying with us, and we are next. Thank you. We're going to move to Yael in Chile. So Yael Hassan, who we're just going to get up on the screen.
Hi.
There we go. Yael, how are you?
Fine, thanks. Good evening and good afternoon to everybody, to all the Chaverot and the friends that are joining us today. Please, a very good afternoon to Esther, or good evening to Esther. Esther, we are so proud that you received the award. First of all, the award of Eshet Lapidot, and that you represent all the Chaverot from WISO. at the White House now, the Abraham Accord signing. So we are so proud about the ceremony. So a big hug to Esther, and we're so proud to have her like a president.
Absolutely. I know to be invited to the White House is not an everyday occurrence. Absolutely. So I know you had done a video for us on Chile and the entire country.
I'll pleasure to answer after that is the question that you want to.
Perfect. So we're going to roll your video and then we'll come back afterwards.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good evening. From all the Haverot of WISO Chile, I want to tell you Shana Tova Umetuka. And it's an honor for me to speak today and to share with you about our community and our country. Chile has a very active and Zionist Jewish community of about 18,000 members, with more than 90% of it concentrated in its capital, Santiago. Next November will mark 114 years of organized Jewish life in the country. Nevertheless, Chile has had a Jewish presence since the first Spaniards discovered Chile in 1536. The Chilean Jewish community today is formed by several institutions that have different roles: religious, educational, cultural, social assistance, and youth movements. Congregations. Several religious organizations were born at the beginning of the 20th century, founded by migrants from Central and Eastern Europe, Germany, Yugoslavia, and Turkey. These are mostly conservative, Masorti. However, several Orthodox congregations were created in the last 40 years, comprising today around 15% of the Jewish population. Education. The community has 3 Jewish day schools, 2 in Santiago and 1 in Viña del Mar, with a total enrollment of 2,000 students. A Jewish Education Committee is responsible for the oversight of Jewish education. Zionist and social support organizations. Although all Jewish organizations are Zionist, there are some institutions that have specific programs to improve Israel society. Being WISO the most relevant one, with more than 1,800 members and organized groups in several cities. WISO supports social programs in Israel and Chile, while playing a role in advancing women's rights and gender equality. Through WISO CEFI, the institution developed a network of 14 schools within underserved communities to which WISO provides resource and support. Chile has several active Zionist youth movements, Tnuot Noar, that gather more than 1,000 Chanichim and Madrichim. We also have a fire company that carries the banner of Israel, a unique Jewish entity throughout the Jewish diaspora. 2 Jewish nursery homes and a medical center that serves a non-Jewish population of scarce resources that lives in the periphery of the capital, among others. All Chilean Jewish organizations are represented by a single body, the Jewish Federation of Chile. The Federation leads the relationship with national authorities, institutions, and other religious communities. Its main goal is to combat anti-Semitism, as well as any form of discrimination, contributing to the creation of an environment of peace, coexistence, and respect. The Jewish community, through its members, is integrated and participates in all areas of the Chilean society: culture, science and technology, business, education, arts, and politics. In short, in all these and other areas, the Jewish community has undertaken several initiatives to help the vulnerable, particularly when it comes to natural catastrophes that have affected the country, like earthquakes or, these days, the pandemic. The community is confronting the current context united as one, and even some institutions have started to explore mergers and alliances to advantage synergies in time of crisis. In terms of external challenges, Chile has the largest Palestinian community outside the Middle East, estimated at 400,000. The Palestinians, basically of Christian origin, are represented by the so-called Palestinian Federation of Chile, which has a strong presence in parliament, government, and in general in public bodies, the media, banks, and business. They constantly engage in anti-Zionist propaganda, promote the BDS campaign, lobby Chilean authorities seeking the condemnation of Israel, and even some of their leaders have publicly supported anti-Semitic conspiracy theories. Chile has a mixed relationship with Israel, strong technological and military cooperation, but no free trade agreement. Also, Chile has not declared a Hezbollah terrorist organization, nor has adopted the IRA definition of anti-Semitism. Another front is the emergence of neo-Nazi movements with a discourse resembling the protocols of the Elders of Zion. The extreme right linked to these movements has raised the accusation that the thousands of young Israelis that visit Patagonia are part of a complot to refloat the Andina Plan, a conspiracy theory that states that Israel wants to conquer Patagonia. Despite those external challenges, the pandemic and the associated economic crisis, the community is optimistic about its future, as knows that has strong Jewish institutions and lives in a democratic country, as part of a society that respects us and allows us to develop our activities in peace. Chile has two well-known tourist places which obtain international recognition: Torres del Paine National Park and Eastern Island. Torres del Paine National Park encompasses mountains, glaciers, lakes, and rivers in southern Chilean Patagonia. The park, with more than 500,000 visitors a year, mostly from Europe, Israel, and North America, has been elected as the 5th most beautiful place in the world by National Geographic and the 8th wonder of the world by TripAdvisor. Ideal for hiking and walking, it has extraordinary 5-star hotel inside the park with astonishing views and catamarans for navigating the lake. Easter Island. Easter Island is since 1888 a Chilean island in the southeastern Pacific Ocean, in the eastern corner of Polynesian Triangle in Oceania. Easter Island is most famous for its nearly 1,000 extant monumental statues, named Moai, created by the early Rapa Nui people. In 1995, UNESCO named Easter Island a World Heritage Site, with much of the island protected within Rapa Nui National Park. The building of the magnificent moais between the 8th and 13th century is intriguing, given its size and weight. Some of the authentic spirit of this culture is still present in its people, dances, and cuisine. Thank you again for this opportunity, sharing with you my view of the Jewish community and my beautiful country.
Thank you so much. We just got a question in to ask you, how many Jews are there in Chile?
Okay, so there are 18,000 that I told you before. I saw that a lot of people, okay, you're interested in knowing how many Sephardis and Ashkenazim. We're a very united community, so we don't have, but if I would have to say how many is the percent of each one, I would have to say that is like 70% Ashkenazim and 30 Sephardim, if we would have to say that. But really, we're a very united community. We don't have that separate.
That's fantastic. And also, so obviously you've got the beaches. What I love about Chile is that it goes all the way down. So you've got the beaches, which are warm and hot. And then you've got literally
I
the
invite
snow.
everybody to visit. It's a very nice country. You have a lot of beaches. It's a very touristic country, and a lot of Israelis that comes here. That's why I said the problem that we have with the problem that they think that Israel wants to conquer. But it's only a problem that we have a lot of years already. But it's not. It doesn't make a problem because they keep coming to Chile. But
there are a lot of people who come from the army. Yes,
the right people. The very extreme right people. They want to say that, and they want to put it. They always put it. If Israel, we always answer. If Israel would have wanted to do something about it, we wouldn't expect so many years already. It's nothing to do with that. But the point that a lot of kids they finish the end of the Tzava and they come to visit Chile, the south of Chile. So they put it like they come and they want to conquer. But okay, we have to deal with that problem. The biggest one is the point that we have the biggest community, Palestinian community, beside the one that is in the Middle East.
And where did that population come from? How did that become such a big population?
It came, when the Turkey Empire disappeared, they came from, that's why they're the original, they're not Muslims, they're Christian ones. And they came here, and at the beginning, we didn't have problem. I will tell you that at the beginning of the 20th, they were very friendly with the Jewish community. It happens that now they started at the end of the 20s, they started to feel like they have to solve the problem, the Palestinian problem, and the youngest one, they started to put the problem on the top, and they started with all this campaign against the Jewish and to bring the problem, the Palestinian conflict here in this country. We didn't have it before. It's just now 20 years ago, not more than that.
That's a pity. I know that a lot of, obviously you said
people... have been more, and they're here already maybe more than from the beginning of the 20s. We didn't have it before.
Okay, but Santi, it looks like a beautiful country to visit. It looks like it's got all these amazing aspects. And I know, I was even there in summer. I was actually in Argentina. So I went to Patagonia, but went to Calafate, and I saw the icebergs, which I didn't realize would be there in December. So I wasn't dressed. I was dressed for summer, so I had to go shopping. But
and you have 1,800 women, Haverot from WISO, that we kindly and warmly, we will receive you and show you, and kindly we will have you here, and so we will be very happy to receive you here. So
fantastic! I think we're definitely
we're offering that for all the people that are watching now and join with us here. It will be very.
I think we're going to take you up on that.
Nice. So it's good.
Absolutely. So thank you so much. I think we've learned so much.
Thank you for the opportunity, and we hope to share more time with you. Thank you very much. Chatima Tova for everybody.
Thank you so much. And next time we're going to move on to Israel, to Ora. But thank you. I think I'm definitely putting Santiago on my list. I didn't get there. I only got to Brazil and Argentina and Peru, but I'm definitely on my way to Chile. Thank you so much. Brilliant. So now we are going to move on to Ora. I have to find her. Here we go, Ora. And
okay.
Thank you and welcome. Let's just move your camera so we can see your face. I think just angle it. There we go.
Okay.
Thank you. And where are you joining us from tonight? Where are you?
I'm in Tel Aviv. I'm in my home, and I'm happy to be here. And I won't share with you the information about Israel because you're probably all aware and know a lot about Israel. I will share with you some information about our activities in the Israeli Federation. So, but if you want to ask any question about Israel now in these days, you're most welcome to do so. And I can start.
Absolutely. Please tell us, and just first of all, tell us what's the weather like? That's the most important question everyone wants.
It's really, really hot. Usually in September, it's not so hot. It's only in August, but it's really, the humidity is really high. It's almost 100% humidity. And and we have like 40 degrees Celsius almost every day. And it's really hard to be outside for, just early in the morning or just in the afternoon for jogging or just go out. It's better to do it in the early morning or in the evening. Otherwise, it's too hot now. But hopefully, by the end of September, it will be changed. It will be different.
Absolutely, and hopefully you'll get out of lockdown. All right, so let's tell us. So you are the chairperson of WITZO Israel. You've been involved for a long time. I think a lot of people don't really understand all the projects that are in Israel. That don't understand really how strong WITZO is in Israel. All the people that it helps, the fact that it helps every single citizen, regardless of race, religion, and that it really is encompassing from the very, very young to the very, very old. So give us some context around that.
I will, and I will emphasize on our activities through the Corona period from mid of March until today. So first of all, let me say Shalom, South Africa. I want to wish you all Shana Tova, a year of good health, Briut, Parnasa, and that our WITZO work will be blessed. This has been a year of great achievements, with women breaking the glass ceiling in WITZO Israel. We have risen the challenges with great success. WITZO Israel enjoys a great and trusted reputation and relationship within the government, as well as trust from the female population in the country. Let's look at some of our great achievements throughout the year, including how we are helping during this Corona crisis. By far, our biggest achievement has been the passing of the Equal Salary Bill, a real win for all women in the workplace. My friends, this is an historical move in the Israeli society. In a dramatic achievement for WITZO in promoting the rights of Israeli women in the marketplace, WITZO's Equal Pay for Women and Men Bill was passed into law by the Knesset 3 weeks ago. The new law obligates employers to publish an annual report detailing the pay gaps between their male and female employees. This transparency will help women achieve fairness and equality in their wages. This bill is a key milestone in the ongoing and just struggle to reduce gender gaps in the labor market and to promote equality in all areas of life. The wage gap between men and women in Israel currently stands at 32%, despite the fact that there is a law on the books that require equal pay for both sexes. From now on, every employer will think twice before discriminating when it comes to the wages of the male and female employees.
And Oris, I want to ask you, is that globally competitive? Like, is it the same as you see around the world, or you think it's only has been a bigger problem in Israel?
It's in Israel, because in the world, I think that most of the places, the employers must just publish the salary of men and women in their organization. In Israel, it was like the employer could just do whatever he wants, by the book. He should do it, but none of them was doing it unless the worker she will ask for. But it's very difficult when you want to continue work in this place and to start fighting your employer. So now the employer oath to do it by the law every year. By the end of the year, they have to publish this report, and hopefully they will think twice before giving a different salary to men and women, and hopefully we will get some more equal chances and salary in the marketplace. I hope it will work out, because now you can see, like, as I said, it's above 30% difference between the salary of men and women in Israel, which is a huge difference, okay? That's why you can see that most of the time, if you have children under age, you know, young children, most of the time women will stay at home. The family will choose the woman to stay at home, because her salary probably will be lower than her husband. So now hopefully it will be different.
Great.
We have also played one of the most important roles in helping to secure Israeli citizens during the corona crisis. With lockdowns and the danger of being stuck with their abusers, there was immediate demand for solution for women and children at risk. WITO found an immediate solution by opening an emergency shelter in keeping with the corona laws. WITO is the leading women organization in the country, and since the start of the global pandemic, we have helped 86 women and more than 200 children. After 5 days of its opening, the shelter was full until today. Even today, the shelter is full. We also help them with the mental and emotional therapy to exit the cycle of violence and to build new lives, so that they do not go back to their abuser. We have an agreement with the welfare authorities to operate the emergency shelter until December 15, 2020. But, you know, every time, you know, because the corona is still with us, and it's probably going to stay with us for at least a year. So they're just giving us more and more requests to operate it. And it was at the beginning, it was only the mid of August. And they're always giving us another month. And then now by the mid of September, they just ask for another 3 months until the mid of December.
So what is the long-term plan? Because obviously this is a problem and it's systemic, and COVID has like made it worse. What is the long-term plan? Do you need more shelters for women and children to protect them?
As we assume and we predict that there will be more violence, especially at homes, we just approach the welfare authorities and ask them to open emergency shelter, just to avoid having any chance of COVID-19 in the shelters, in the regular shelters. So we started like having women in high-risk women for 2 weeks, and then they're going to the regular shelters. Now they're opening another 2 shelters. I have to admit that for the last 15 years, they're in Israel. They didn't open, the welfare authorities didn't open any new shelter. Our shelter, it was our idea, just, and this one is the first one after 15 years. Now, they are considering of opening another 2 shelters for different communities, like religion people and like the Arab women. It's now in the process. It's not happening yet, but I know that it's in the process. But our shelter is the most important at this one, the emergency. We're also handling another two shelters in 2 different places in Israel. Then this one is in the middle of Israel, and this one is an emergency shelter, and it is really hard and difficult, much more difficult work than the other shelters, because we have to get the women for 2 weeks, and then we have to just to prepare the place for another family. which is really hard to handle them and to treat people for 2 weeks and then release them, and a new family is coming. From my experience, I have to tell you that like 2 months ago, I called the manager of the shelter and I asked if there's room for a woman, and she said, right now I'm releasing 3 families, so there is room, but just hurry up because I don't know what is going to happen within an hour or so. After 3 hours, I called her again and there was no place anymore because another 3 families came. And, you know, we're getting families from the welfare authorities, from the health, from hospitals, from the police. So it was fully booked and I couldn't reach place for this woman and her children. So we're always busy, but we're trying to do our best, and it's amazing. We're doing the amazing things. We're getting a lot of donations of money as well as other things just to support these ladies, and some of the branches, the WITSO branches in Israel, they are just adopting the shelter and just bringing like flowers. Esther just took care of this shelter for one of on the weekends. She brought flowers and tablecloth and the WITSO branches around and from all over Israel, just bringing them good food, home-made food, clothes, toys for the children, and we have a lot of volunteers there. So it's really the beautiful Israel you can see there. But this is a lot of work. It's really.
Well, no, it sounds like there is and I know there's so much to get through because you do so much amazing work. We have to move on to India right now. I know it's getting late, but we're going to come back to you because we're going to have a Q&A at the end, and then you can, if there's some projects you still want to talk about, we can discuss them. Because I know Elshem, she's staying up super late in India. I know.
Okay.
So, but we'll definitely come back because I know you've got so many amazing projects that that you are definitely involved with. So let me quickly try and see. Here we go. We've got Yael. Yael, good evening.
Good evening, Dina. How are you?
Good. Thank you for staying up for us in India. Thank you for being with us. We know you are like the mayoress of the whole of India, you and your husband, Ralphie. I was actually in India a few years ago, and Ralphie took us to some of the synagogues, to the shuls, and it was absolutely fantastic. So yes, I know we've done
South Africa 10 years ago for the WITSO biennial. It's 10 years already. In 2010.
Fantastic, sure. And Yael, so you're getting a big hello from all your friends in South Africa. I know you're a feature, like when anyone talks about India, they talk about Yael and Ralphie, so you're definitely an international feature.
Yes, thank you.
All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to show you a video and then we'll do some questions just after that.
Yes, that'd be lovely. Yes.
Perfect. So Danny will roll the video.
You can start.
Shana Tova, my dear Vitzo Kaverot in South Africa. It's so wonderful to reconnect with you again. My name is Yael and I'm a Bnei Israel Jew from Mumbai, India. India is an incredible country with a population of about 1.38 billion people. India is a land of mountains, rivers, lakes, forts, palaces, and its incredible people. And for the Jewish traveler, India has an added bonus, the Jewish heritage of India. Indian Jewish heritage comprises of 3 Jewish communities. The Bnei Israels, who came to India about 175 BCE at the times of King Antiochus, the Kochini Jews who came at the times of King Solomon, and the Baghdadi Jews who came to India around 1790s. Today, the population of the Jewish community is about 3,500 people. At its peak, we were around 40,000 people, and many of them who made Aliyah to Israel post-independence in 1947 and the formation of the State of Israel in 1948. Today, the Jewish communities are settled in Mumbai. There are few in Pune, Ahmedabad, Cochin, Calcutta, and Delhi. India has also welcomed Jews from the Western world. A name which comes to our mind during the COVID-19 pandemic is the name of Dr. Waldemar Mordecai Hafkin, who came to Bombay in 1893. He has been credited with the vaccinations for cholera and bubonic plague, and he has tested the effectiveness of this vaccine on himself first. The Hafkin Institute in Bombay, founded in 1899, is a standing testimony to his contribution to the field of medicine and to this country. No visit to India is complete without a visit to the Taj Mahal and in Agra, an architectural marvel and a monument of love. Another place to visit is Cochin in Kerala. Kerala, the land of the coconuts, the land of the spices. Ancient times, ancient biblical times, Jews came to Kerala for the spices, namely pepper, cardamom, saffron, frankincense, cinnamon. The Indian Jewish community has incorporated these abundance of nature into their lifestyle and food. We are now coming towards the festival of Sukkot, and the Indian Jewish community makes their sukkah with these beautifully woven fronds from the coconut palms. We welcome family and friends into our sukkah with delicious fragrant biryanis, samosas, and very...
I think the video cut out there, but Yael, I think you gave us such a great overview of India and the community. I mean, the fact that there were 40,000 Jewish Indians living in India is just an amazing amount. And the fact that so many went to live in Israel, obviously the majority. How do you keep your Judaism so strong in India? Because you really are, you're like literally a shining light in India.
Yes, we as an Indian Jewish community, we are fairly traditional in our, in our lifestyle and in terms of Jewish values. And when you're really a small community, you tend to hold on more. I think that just helps us to keep it together as a community, or as our religion, or as our traditions. And it's such an ancient tradition, and so it's like we have some rituals which are so very typical to the Indian Jewish community that we pass it on from generation to generation.
Great. So you'll see there's some slides that are coming up here. Sorry, we've gone to different countries, but we've got some slides on India, just so to take you through. So Danny, you can get to the next slide. So we just thought we'd make it more real for everyone. So you mentioned the Taj Mahal. It's one of the major tourist spots. I've been there. It's beyond phenomenal. As you said, it's a dedication to love. What struck me is that it is this beautifully ornate building that literally is in the middle of, also there's just so much, you can see the traffic and all of that. I was shocked by that, because the cars, they don't really go in a direction, they go in any direction you want. There are cows in the middle of the road. Cows are holy, so everyone avoids the cows.
Today is a very different scene with the lockdown and the pandemic. India is totally different. In fact, the Taj Mahal just opened yesterday after 6 months to just a limited number of visitors, like 1,000 visitors a day can come in at spaced out hours, and like no cash transactions. You have to pre-book your ticket online, and so it's just started. So let's hope we can all be back to all these, craziness of India.
Absolutely. And here we've got some more. We've got the Red Fort in Delhi, the India Gate. Also into Jaipur, which is obviously the pink city, and the beautiful palaces that you have there. Do you go there often?
Yes, because of my work, I'm also in tourism, and I am, I do Jewish heritage, as well as I'm a licensed guide from the Ministry of Tourism. So at least, yes, 3 times a year I do go. I love the markets of Jaipur, and of course this is Mumbai, the gateway of India, and the Taj Mahal Hotel, and of course the beaches of Goa attract a lot of young Israelis who come to India after they finish their army, and that's yes, that's the two of us with my husband, and it's me, and that's the Indian Jewish wedding. And this is in the Calcutta synagogue, actually, this photograph, and all the four gentlemen who are standing here. In Calcutta, there are just about 20 Jewish families, very old, and just one or two people who are in charge of these three beautiful synagogues. But all these caretakers are Muslim caretakers. For 3 generations they have been looking after the synagogues, and today they continue to look after this synagogues in Calcutta, as well as, I guess, this is the picture you see almost in every part of India. India is one country where there has never been any kind of anti-Semitism, and this is so we have great harmony with all the religions that we have here. And these are the synagogues in Cochin, and Kerala today has just about 5 Jews left in this Jew town, or this community, which is Pardesi Jews, which are foreigners. As foreigners, these are Jews who came about you know around 1500. These are people who came at the times of the Spanish Inquisition. And so this is the Cochinese synagogue, but it's today open to every traveler who comes to Cochin. This is the oldest synagogue of Bombay, the Gate of Mercy synagogue, called Sha'ar HaRahamim. And this synagogue was built around 1796 by an Indian Jewish person, a Bnei Israel Jew by the name of Divekar, Samuel Divekar. He was a lieutenant in the army, and he was captured by the Muslim Sultan. And all the times he was in prison, he just had one prayer. If ever he saw freedom one day, he would dedicate a synagogue to his people in the island city of Bombay. And 1796, the British were just developing Bombay as a port city, and he wanted the Jewish people to come here. And so he named this synagogue, surely he built it, called it the Gate of Mercy, or Sha'ar HaRahamim. And this whole street is called Samuel Street. And this is the only caretaker who looks after this synagogue. And this is the traditional Bnei Israel mezuzah in marble in a synagogue in Alibag. That's my husband here with Nissim. They're both working towards preserving the Jewish heritage, and we are working towards, making a family tree or going back into our heritage. And this is a very typical Bnei Israel tradition to have a lamp lit on very special occasions, weddings, Brit Milas, or every Shabbat, after Shabbat, Eliyahu Navi, the light or the lamp of Prophet Elijah. Yeah, this is very relevant to this time. This is Dr. Hafkin, who came to India, as I mentioned, and there is a whole institute in his honor in Mumbai, the Hafkin Institute. He was a bacteriologist under the British times. He left Odessa, Ukraine, and yes, today it's very relevant. There's a wonderful book you can read online, The Unknown Story, or the Little Known Story of Hafkin. And of course, you asked for a Sukkot snacks. As we said, the Sukkot snacks, we generally have these brilliant, lovely fragrant biryanis with all the spices that we have here, and coconut pancakes and samosas. And the sukkahs itself are made out of coconut fronds. The coconut leaves make the walls of the sukkah. We are all very naturally and abundant in nature. So we make use of that in our daily life.
So someone's asking for your recipe of the coconut pancakes. Will you send that to us, and we can send that to all of us?
Yes, I have sent it on the email already to the organizers. So yes, we will forward it to everyone.
I think I'll definitely be trying that. So you're not making any Ashkenazi food. You're not making chopped herring, gefilte fish.
No, we have abundance of fish. I mean, we just don't know which variety of fish to try. I think we ate a fish, kosher fish. If I ate one variety of fish, I can have 7 different kinds of kosher fish for 7 days of the week. So yes, but I do love that because of the course of my travel and interactions with different communities. Yes, I do love the Ashkenazi food too.
So what is your outside of India? Because as you said, there's over 1 billion people in India. There's so much culture. It's so rich. What is your favorite country out of India?
Favorite country out of India? Well, obviously, I do connect very closely to Israel. It's in a way my second home, and most of our families live there. But yes, I mean, everything outside India is a wonderful place to travel, but I do love London. You know, going to the UK, to London, because it's so much of the British heritage, and little memories come back in terms of the buildings, the things what we learned at school, stories of Ruskin Bond. So yes.
Wonderful. But also, so because obviously there's so many Indians that went to Israel in the 1950s. When you go back to Israel, do you think there's a strong Indian community, or do you think it's really started like dissipating?
As an Indian influence? Well, in Israel today, as we see, there are about 40,000 Jews of Indian origin, and there are about 35 synagogues all over Israel which make prayer in the traditional Bnei Israel style. So, yes, they have very strong roots. They love their Indian clothes. They love the henna parties for their wedding. They love to cook the chicken curry. Yes, there is, you can see now, you know, as we are starting to say that the Indian Jewish community is now getting all colors of, you know, from coffee to milk latte, you know, it's all colors are coming into a Bnei Israel household.
Exactly. And tell us
So
about,
you see some of them are still very Indian and some have become very Israeli. You wouldn't even like, you know, oh, you're from India? No, it's sometimes for some they've really changed a lot.
And tell us about the henna, the tradition of henna, because when I came to India for an Indian wedding, you are covered in the henna and it's just such a beautiful tradition.
Yes, henna is a pre-wedding ceremony, and henna is used basically by both the Hindus, the Muslims, and all communities it's an auspicious ceremony. And the use of henna basically is not even it's a social tradition, because henna leaf by itself, they say if you look at the health value of a henna leaf, it is kind of very healing to the body, it's cooling to the body. So in times of high stress, you know, say it's a wedding or it's a festival and there is a lot of things happening, you generally would apply henna so that it cools your internal system and the stress doesn't make you ill. And then over a period of time, a whole ceremony started to evolve and designs, and there are henna artists who are today booked, like who are booked by, like, you know, Indians from all over the globe for a very high amount of money just to make the henna for a bride. So it's an art today. Henna is an art.
I didn't actually know that it was about a calming effect. I just thought it was just because it's so beautiful, it's so ornate.
Yes, it is.
And obviously the saris.
It's so beautifully coming out. It's your mind, and no two henna designs on any bride will be the same because it's just freehand.
And the saris, give us an indication. So even in because I know there's so many, like when they say an Indian wedding, it's like lasts over a week. And obviously the Jewish traditions mixed with the Indian traditions and the different colors of the saris. Give us some ideas on that.
See, India is very rich in her textiles. Every part of India has a weave. These were all cottage industries which sustained a village. And these weaves made its way into objects of fabrics of daily wear or daily use. So whether it was the dhoti, the wraparound for the men, or the sari for the women. So every region of India has its own weave, whether it's cotton or whether it is silk or even pure silk or even silk which is not really silk, you know, it is what is called vegan, you know, it's a vegan silk. And women use, it's a home industry. So people make these saris and every woman would like, and we love colors. And you would never find any Indian woman at any event, you know, we're not very happy when somebody uses our color or even the weave of the sari. So if I'm wearing a Banarasi sari, which is a weave from northern India, then someone would wear a sari from South India, but in another color. So no two saris are again same because the weavers again weave it out from their mind. And then today women don't wear so much of a sari, but they will wear salwar kameez, you know, kurta and a scarf. So it's more ready to wear outfit. And Indian Jewish women, obviously the sari is for the weather. It's so comfortable for the weather. When it's heat, when it's hot, or when it's humid, or when it's raining, or when it's even cold, the silk, it covers your body completely. And one sari, it's like one size fits all. So
Absolutely.
it's so very popular. Of course, a Jewish bride will wear a white sari. Okay, we will not wear a red color, which a Hindu bride wears, or a Muslim bride who wears a green sari. So every community has their own colors, and we have a white sari for the Hindu bride, for a Jewish bride. And there are some colors we do not use, like black is not considered auspicious in India, nor would we wear white otherwise at any other auspicious occasion. So we try to have
yes, I noticed that.
our palette.
Absolutely. I noticed that because I think in the rest of the Western world, black is like a stock standard for any event. And in India, don't think about it. So
Now
I love the color.
Wardrobe having some colors and many prints, which could be probably coming from India, or paisley leaves and flowers are now coming into the Western outfit. I can see that little more in many of these. Yes, if I go to say H&M or other stores, Zara, they have some kind of prints coming in and colors.
Exactly, especially this season. So I know we've got to move on to South Africa, but you're staying with us. You're in the wee hours of the morning.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you, Lee. And thank you, everyone, with South Africa, and to you too.
Thank you so much. It's been so lovely chatting to you. And I think now everyone is waiting to come to India. And I know you're a great guide, so they'll give you a, a great one. Thank you so much. We'll speak to you now. And there's also people are loving your, they want to know about the henna tattoo. So we're going to come back to you.
Yes, surely. I'm practicing that in the lockdown. I'm brushing up my henna skills.
Good. Fantastic. So Janine, good evening. So you're joining us from Cape Town. We know the host always goes last, so thank you for being with us.
Pleasure. Thanks for having me.
How's Cape Town today?
It was actually lovely. It was almost like a summer's day here today, funnily enough. It tries every couple of days, but you know what they say about Cape Town? You can have 4 seasons in one day, so you never know what you're going to get.
Fantastic. So listen, we've got a video that you also got for us. We're going to start with that.
Okay. Okay, great. Thanks.
I'm just going to roll that.
South Africa, the Rainbow Nation, alive with possibility. South Africa is beautiful places, beautiful spaces, and beautiful skylines. But it is also beautiful people with beautiful cultures. Jews have been living in South Africa for hundreds of years, first mainly settling in gold mining towns to seek better fortune for their families, then fleeing Eastern Europe's pogroms and subsequently fleeing Nazi Europe. Jewish communities in South Africa are very well organized and are structured in a way that take care of every Jew from the time they are born to the time that they pass, from established Jewish day schools and even Jewish student organizations on university campuses. Last year, the Kaplan Center at the University of Cape Town released their findings after conducting a nationwide survey of all South African Jews. It showed that there are 52,000 Jews living in South Africa, which is not even 1% of South Africa's total population. Unfortunately, due to political and socio-economic situations, the community is aging as many younger people are choosing to immigrate to other countries to study, raise families, and carve their careers. South African Jews are primarily traditional Orthodox, making up over 60% of the Jewish population of South Africa, with only 12% being progressive, and the balance identifying as secular. All in all, though, South African Jewry is united more than it is divided on most issues. This enables us to have a cohesive community that is very much dedicated to organizations like WITSO. We have always had a strong tie with Israel, and we are very fortunate to be affiliated with the South African Zionist Federation. In fact, the very first WITSO branch was established in South Africa 118 years ago. We also receive so much support from our Christian Zionist groups and members too. Today, this Ruach continues through WITSO South Africa. Our many offices, including Port Elizabeth, Johannesburg, Durban and Cape Town, have branches established, and these wonderful WITSO women continue to innovate new and exciting ways to raise funds for our WITSO projects in Israel. We also lend a hand to our local communities wherever possible, for example through feeding schemes and our headline project with Wheelchairs of Hope.
Good, lovely, that's nice.
We are WITSO South Africa, proudly part of World WITSO.
Thank you, Janine. I think that gives us such a beautiful idea of the community and the work that you're doing, which is really great. Tell me, why is it that you're involved with WITSO? What is it that really resonates with you?
Well, I can only speak from a personal point of view. So Dina, you and I had a conversation before we went live, and I was saying to you that genuinely my motivation, and my executive in Cape Town knows this quite well because I repeat it all the time, is that we know that we've got a specific project that we support in Israel, which is Neve WITSO. And I know that there are 40 children that need a safe haven and they need caretaking. And if I don't do what I'm mandated to do in terms of steering my committee and continuing the fundraising, then that's just not going to happen for those kids. So
for people who don't know, Neve WITSO is foster care, yes.
Oh yes, sorry. So Neve WITSO is five houses in Herzliya, and each house currently cares to 8 children, and they often arrive at the age of 2.5 and then only leave once they've done their army service. So it really is a lifelong commitment on the part of WITSO to every single one of those children.
And Tommy, how do you get volunteers? Do you still need volunteers for WITSO? There's obviously a lot of fundraising that has to happen.
Absolutely. You know, like I mentioned in the video, unfortunately, given our socioeconomic, especially our political climates in the country, not to be a Debbie Downer, but we have this massive drain. It's either post the end of school, so when kids are at university going ages, a lot of especially Jewish children will aim to study overseas. Their parents sometimes insist on it, and if they haven't already left, then they aim to build a career and to raise family overseas because they see it as more secure and safer, actually. So there's this massive drain around about the age of, I'd say from 18 to 35. And that, of course, is the crux of being involved in a community. So we always need more volunteers and we always need more hands on deck in terms of the fundraising. But I can say that the extent to which WITSO South Africa actually makes a concerted effort to meet their mandate where WITSO is concerned in terms of fundraising is absolutely phenomenal. And there's a massive energy and a massive drive. We'd love to have new blood come into the organization, as with any organization. And we are trying, I mean, literally on a monthly basis, we are trying to innovate and come up with new ideas to fundraise, and as Lorian Bates would say, to friend raise, so to bring in more friends into the WITSO circle. So yeah.
Fantastic, great. So we're actually just going to run. So Jennifer Lim was supposed to be with us from Jamaica. I'm going to quickly just run through some slides on Jamaica, and then we're all going to come back to have a quick group discussion and some Q&A. So thank you so much for those insights. We're also going to put up just now actual banking details of WITSO, and we're also going to put up also contact details if anyone wants to get involved. So yeah, please stay tuned. Danny's just going to put up the slides of Jamaica. So unfortunately, Jennifer, who's supposed to be here from Jamaica, wasn't able to connect. So I'm just going to flip through them quickly just to give you some insights on Jamaica and the Jewish community there. So let's start. So as you can see, Jamaica obviously is sort of south of the United States, near Cuba and Venezuela, Colombia. And the majority of Jews actually are in Kingston. The population once of Jews in the 1800s, there were 2,500 Jews in Jamaica, and there were 8 synagogues. Jamaica obviously is a beautiful island. It's got lots of natural, beautiful beaches. A lot of people visit. You can see just from these pictures that the beaches are absolutely supreme, and they are literally like unspoilt. So yeah, beautiful place to visit. In terms of the Jewish life, you can see it was actually a combination. There's Sephardim, there's Ashkenazim. A lot of them were fleeing persecution. A lot of them actually came from Spain, but long before, like in the 1500s, when they were actually not allowed to be practicing as Jews. So they became what they called conversos or crypto Jews, also from the Marranos. And they actually came to Jamaica, and some of them pretended not to be Jewish, but at the same time always kept Jewish traditions. You can see here that the United Congregation of Israelites is still standing today. The congregation on the left used to be a bustling community. Unfortunately, at the moment, they don't even get a minyan on Shabbat, but they do get people who attend synagogue. They do say that the number of Jews today in Jamaica is about 2,000. We can go to the next slide. So that's pretty much just a quick overview of Jamaica and the Jewish community. So I'm really sorry that we couldn't get her with us tonight, but at least we've got a little view. And I think Jamaica anyway is just a great place essentially to go visit. So everyone should try and go visit. And I know we've got so many questions that have come in just about the different communities and all of that. So I'm just going to ask all our panelists to come back, and we could just have a quick conversation with everyone, and just say thank you so much for everyone attending. Thank you so much to everyone who has listened through the night. I hope that you have learned a lot about the different communities. And is there anything that you wanted to add? Did you know everything about all of these communities that you've learned tonight? I mean, I know you obviously interact with all the Huitzo contemporaries around the entire world. Did you know everything about these communities, about Mexico, about all of these countries?
I definitely didn't, no. And it's so interesting because when you think of being part of Huitzo as a global organization, we are all aligned in terms of our values. And we all have a similar mandate, but you don't stop to think that other Huitzo women, you've got this automatic connection because you are all part of the same organization, but to the same extent, culturally, you are completely different. You come from a different place. So it was really interesting.
It's wonderful to see all these ladies all over the world. And as you say, Janine, we all belong to the same family when we're in Huitzo, and we all know why we are here. And I know that in Israel, it's tough now. Ora, you have told us, and the only thing I can say is that fundraising is the key to everything. And whoever is listening in, if I may ask, think for Huitzo, think for all these kids, think of all these women who are counting on us to provide shelter, to provide some warmth, to provide some humanity. I think it's so important. We have homes, we have families. These women come in the shelters, they don't have anything left, and they're desperate. And Huitzo is doing an incredible job for this. So, Ora, wonderful that you could present this. And to you all ladies, Shana Tova and Hatima Tova, and let's hope to see each other very, very soon again.
All right,
Thank
sorry.
you.
Absolutely. Jennifer is joining us. Jennifer, hi. Can you hear us? Jennifer? Sorry, we can't get video. We can't get the audio. All right, so I just also want to say we're going to put up the fundraising details for Huitzo. So I don't know if everyone got all the different projects, but from the daycare centers for women and single families at risk, for the battered women shelters, for the youth villages, for those kids who don't have a skill, who've landed up on the street or taken in and learn a skill in a technicon. I mean, there's just so much that Huitzo does in Israeli society that is so important, and the help that they get from every single country is incredible. And then not only do the people in Huitzo help Israel, but they also help the communities in which they live, which we see the absolute spirit of generosity, of giving, continues throughout the entire organization and throughout the world. As we say, there are over 250,000 members across the world, which is no small feat. So obviously there's massive value. And what we're going to do is, if you enjoyed the event and if you'd like details, we are putting up details of Rito on the actual chat, and you also will be able to call the office if you'd like to donate or if you'd like to get involved. And what we're going to do is we're going to play out with the Rito video. And Jennifer, can you hear us? We've lost Jennifer, sorry. Okay, so Jamaica, guys, was not meant to happen, so maybe we'll have to come back another time. But we are going to play out with another Vito video, but we're going to leave the chat open. So if anyone wants to add a comment, there's been a request from all of the from the crowd to actually have everyone who's been on tonight to put their contact details in the chat. So if all the panelists could just put their contact details in case someone wants to get in touch with you in your own home country, it would be fantastic. And we're going to play out with a Vito video. And if anyone wants to donate, again, the details are in the chat. And thank you all. It has been fantastic. We are not going to have any webinars through Sukkot, so we are taking a break. Again, we are in webinar 57 throughout lockdown. So we think that everyone deserves a break, and we know that people want to celebrate in their sukkahs. So hopefully everyone will enjoy, and maybe you could put some biryani in your Sukkot and have something a bit different. And thank you to all of our panelists who have participated. Thank you so much to Lee Jaffe for organizing, for arranging and coordinating. Your help has been completely invaluable. And we wish everyone a Shana Tova, and may you all be sealed in the book of life. May you have an easy fast, and may it just be a good year for everyone, and hopefully better than the last. And thank you to everyone. Shana Tova.
Thank you.
Shana Tova.
They can't get me if you're doing it on your phone.
Thank you so much. Jennifer, are we hearing you yet?
Hi. Can you
hear me? So sorry, I know we're at the end of the webinar, but you're still with us, so that's very exciting. How are you?
Mine's supposed to start at 3 o'clock.
Yes, it was probably a little while ago. Apologies. I think that we got the times obviously crossed, or you didn't get the Jamaican.
So why didn't they inform me that it was going to be a different time?
Sorry, so you're on the air. Well, this is the end of the webinar, but you're welcome to give us some insights into Jamaica quickly. Tell us about your community. Tell us about yourself, your family.
Oh boy. Well, to start, we came here, my family came here in the 1600s when the Inquisition from Spain and Portugal. So my family remained here, and I have a family tree going back to the 1600s. So with that, we stayed here, and then we had our synagogues. We had a lot of synagogues at the time. We only have one now, the Shera Shalom, and my information is downstairs. So the other thing that happened in Jamaica that we are very proud of was that when the Holocaust took place in Germany, we kept about 3,000 people that came on ships, men, women, and children, and they stayed here for a couple of years at Gibraltar Camp, which is now the University of the West Indies. Then
can you just step back a bit so we can see your picture? We want to see your face.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, that was the University of the West Indies. Today, it was called Gibraltar Camp. They stayed there for many years, and we had doctors and we had famous people as children when they came here. So the doctors that were there looked after us as children. When I remember 3 of them that looked after the dentist and the doctor when we were little children. So yeah, that was then. And then one of the famous ones that were here as a child was Maurice Templesman, and he became a very famous diamond outlet in New York, and was also Elizabeth Taylor's boyfriend, the late Elizabeth Taylor. But anyway, he came back here for a reunion of the University of the West Indies at a luncheon, and he was the guest speaker. He gave all the remembrance of when he was here in Jamaica as a child. Then there, what other information? All my information.
So tell us about life today in Jamaica. So you say, so there's about 2,000 Jews left in Kingston. That's what I read. And there's still an active shul. There's an active synagogue.
There is Share Shalom that it's amalgamated with the Sephardic and the Ashkenazi. And now it's a conservative bordering on reform. And then we had a lot of people at the time. I had a picture downstairs of all the people that attended the synagogue, but right now we have about 100 members. So people left the country in the 70s when it was going socialism, and then we came back. I visited Israel when I was at the 50th anniversary of WITSO. That was my first trip there, and it was incredible. We toured, we did all these things. I visited Gotex and Rikma and arranged that we would have a fashion show back in Jamaica. And when I got back, we did 3 fashion shows for this 3 years in a row, which was very successful. And then it died again because we had a socialist government coming into power, and everything just slowed down and stopped.
Now, how is life for Jews in Jamaica? What is there a mixed population? Is it all just very liberal?
It's mixed, and it's not. You mean we have no racism here, no nothing. We are all one people in Jamaica. So it's very nice that the synagogue is downtown, so it's very far from your home. So it's, people would be scared to go downtown, but we're not scared. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. And our people are just one people here in Jamaica.
And do you get a lot of tourists? Do you get Jewish tourists?
Oh, that is our biggest, yes, tourism is our biggest thing here. And our cemeteries, we have a group that comes down every year that monitors the synagogue, the cemeteries, and fixed it.
There's something like 20 cemeteries. Is that true?
Oh, no. There's only about 5 now remaining.
So 5 remaining, but there were 20 Jewish cemeteries in Jamaica.
Right, long ago, yeah. But right now there is just that, and we take care of it. And there will be a book that what's her name that comes. Marilyn, yeah, but Ainsley Henriquez arranged that. Ainsley is the Consul General for Israel. And he and this lady from New York, what's her name? Anyway, a group of them comes down every year. I think they're finished now. They've been coming for 14 years to look after the burial ground, interpret all the Hebrew, and we will have a book coming out on that.
And I read also that the floor of the synagogue, is that sand or something?
Yes, it's covered with sand, white sand. And it's been like that from the beginning of the synagogue.
Is there a reason for that?
It has two meanings: that we to quiet the sound of the cryptic Jews that were praying in silence, or to remind us of the desert when we were in the desert. So whichever one you want to take on. But it's beautiful.
As I mentioned, a lot of crypto Jews. Yeah, so I also read that it was in sort of silence, so that they were trying to hide that they were praying.
Yeah, right. And there is also, I have downstairs, you want to get it from me? There's a brick that was made when Columbus came to Jamaica. He came on the ship. It was a cryptic Jew that was a brick maker, and he was ordered to make these heavy bricks that I have one of right now. And it was in the Spanish Town area, which was in Diego de Vega at the time. So it's now called Spanish Town. And there they had this, we the community found this, can you see this brick with the Star of David on it?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's how he made his trademark, that he was a Jew. And it was not known for many years until the building came down and the fishermen had these bricks. So the Jewish community in Jamaica found them, and we all have kind of one of them if we are lucky. So I was lucky to have one.
And, wow, it is very unique. And how do you find Jewish life in Jamaica? Is there any kosher food in Jamaica?
Pardon?
Is there any kosher food in Jamaica?
Kosher food? No. Oh, we have a kosher rabbi. We have a very religious rabbi in Montego Bay. He will have all the kosher foods in Jamaica for the tourists if they want it. But we
rabbi.
Yeah, he's an Orthodox rabbi, yes. But we don't, we are not Orthodox, so it's very difficult for us. But I see him and I go to some of his functions when he does have it.
Yeah, because obviously Montego Bay is a big tourist place, and people, there's songs about Montego Bay.
Yes, it is. It is very lovely. And the grill all over Jamaica is beautiful. There is nothing you wouldn't want to live here. There's no reason why you wouldn't want to live here. It's just, it's incredible. The weather, the seas, the mountains, it's beautiful. It's just beautiful. Witso started in Jamaica right after it was started in England. Do you know that?
I didn't. So in the 1920s.
Yes, they came to Jamaica right after, and started it. But unfortunately, the war came up and it stopped and started and stopped and started, until Rabbi Hooker came, and we were a small group of Witso people. So with that, he urged me to take the presidency when he came. I said, no, all these older people are there. And when I was a child, how can I be the president over them now? And so they said, yes. And so that was why I accepted it. And then I went to Israel for the 50th and did all this touring and never looked back, because Witso is part of my life, and my religion, of course, is the key to my life. And I will, then we had the Dead Sea Scrolls. We invited the curator of the Dead Sea Scrolls from Israel. I think his name was Adolfo Reutemann. And he came
to Jamaica.
He came to Jamaica, and he gave we had a fabulous reception, and he gave a speech and told us all about the Dead Sea Scrolls. It was a big success, even though how
many people do you get for that? Do you only get the people who identify as Jews, or do you get a bigger population of Jamaica?
We got everybody. I have a picture right here of what I had, the program that came out, the Dead Sea Scrolls. So it was everybody. And then we had pictures taken, and we took him to the synagogue, and I have him holding the scroll. It was and then elected as well up at the university. It was very successful. We went slowly down again, and then we started back up again. We're barely holding on with this virus. We haven't done anything. So it's for which so, but I hope to start soon again. I mean, we're together. I have with me right now the treasurer who has been with me for with so for years, from a long time. So it's very encouraging in one sense, and so I'm not giving up for sure. That's for sure. No, we're good here. I have pictures of everything, the giving out of money and giving to the schools here under the name of WITSO.
Amazing. So Jennifer, thank you so much. I know we've run out of time because we've had such a full night of content, but thank you so much for joining us. I know, apologies that there was obviously a mix-up in time between South Africa and Jamaica, but we think that
you're going to edit it. You're going to edit it, and then how will it be seen?
It will be on, it's going to be on YouTube. There'll be a copy of it on YouTube, so anyone can go and look at it and also look at the Jewish Report website, and then the YouTube channel on the SAJR YouTube channel. And also you can go and read the paper on our website, South African Jewish Report website. And there's a Rosh Hashanah edition, and there's another edition. So we hope that that's very interesting. I can see all your pictures that you're showing us.
Yeah. Well, you know, that's carrying the Torah for my grandson's bar mitzvah. And then this was the tour that we did for Poland. We stopped in Paris before we traveled on the buses. And this was at the Elie de Rothschild, Baron and the Baroness de Rothschild. We had Shabbat supper there. And it was incredible. Just I have so many pictures. I had all planned to show you them downstairs with all my.
You know what? If you send them to us, we can send them out. We'll send a communication after this, and we'll add. I know we're sending some recipes special from the country, so we'll send it out, and we can send it to the people who've been watching this evening. But I just want to say thank you so much for logging in. Thank you to everyone who's watched tonight. Lee, thank you so much again for helping organize and coordinate from literally all the corners of the globe. And I think we've all learned so much, and we realize how many communities there truly are, and how engaged they are, and how connected they are, and how much work they're doing. So thank you so much tonight. Thank you for Jennifer. Thank you for Lee. Thank you to Aura, to Yael, to Janine, to Allegra, to Yael again in India for staying up so late for us. So we appreciate it. If anyone wants to add a comment, please do in the chat.
Just Shana Tova.
Thank you. Thank you too for holding on to me, as I didn't realize the time had changed. So thank you again. And I hope to see some of it on YouTube, is it?
Yes, on YouTube. I'll send you the link. Yael, how are you still awake with us in India? And you've got your Ale Hassan obviously in Chile, and you guys you've held on. I love it. Fantastic.
It's not late here, you know. It's not late here. It's only 4 o'clock. 3:20 in the afternoon.
So you know, Israel's an hour later than South Africa. I know that. Yeah,
we're almost. Yeah, it's 10:30. It's almost 11. It's 11:30. 11:30. Already, it's almost midnight. Yeah, here it's almost.
It's almost midnight.
Yeah.
It's late night for me.
So I'll tell you the time in Mumbai is 10 to 2 in the morning.
God, I'm so sorry that we're holding you up, but yeah.
Yael, what time are you getting up? Yeah.
5. It's 5 o'clock. It's in the afternoon now.
Dina, you're getting up at 5 o'clock?
Yeah, in the afternoon. We are in the afternoon, but Yael from India, she's at.
Yes, I think I'm going to sleep now.
Thank you all, everyone. We've got people watching from Australia. We've had people from America, from San Diego, from Washington, from Israel, from Mexico, from Jamaica, from South Africa. I mean, we've even got Cape Town, the southern part.
Wonderful.
So
wonderful. I wish I'd been more organized and with the timing and everything. I have so many things to tell you and so many things to show you downstairs. And we came upstairs because the computer was upstairs, and we just, well,
don't worry, Jennifer, we will run a story for you on the Jews of Jamaica, and we'll put it in the Jewish Report newspaper. It'll be on the website, and we will get lots more information. We'll get pictures from you. And thank you. You were sharing with us anyway. So thank you so much for being with us. And guys, a Shana Tova. May you all fast well. And thank you for all the work that you all do. It's very important.
Shana Tova. Shana Tova.
Shana Tova.
All of you.
And have a safe and wonderful holidays and fasting on Sunday night. So we're all going to fast from 6 to 6. Exactly. So I have a newspaper clipping downstairs where they say Jennifer McAdam Lim is the Witso woman in Jamaica. All of that was downstairs. Is downstairs. So perfect. Yes, well represented in Jamaica. Everybody knows about me.
Good. Well, thank you so much. Good night to everyone and take care.
Good night. Good. Try and get some sleep now. Bye. How did you connect it up? Number they gave you? Before.